people haven't seen Kamala Harris. They haven't seen how awful she is personally. Throughout this thing, she was sneering and rolling her eyes and chuckling to herself. It was just dreadful. She's a horrible person. She's also not a good politician. She's a really incompetent politician. She doesn't make good arguments. She's self-righteous. She's kind of smug. She comes across badly. She's bad at it. But the other thing is this thing with packing the Supreme Court. The fact that the press doesn't ask this question of them every single day. They can't ask it of Biden because he's in the basement going, where am I? What is happening? What day is it? They can't ask him, but they could ask her. When they asked her, she just will not tell the truth. They just won't come out and talk about it. It's cut 41.
I'm so glad we went through a little history lesson. Let's do that a little more. In 1864...
Well, I'd like you to answer the question.
No, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Okay. In 1864, one of the, I think, political heroes, certainly of the president, I assume of you also, Mr. Vice President, is Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln was up for re-election. And it was 27 days before the election. And a seat became open on the United States Supreme Court. Abraham Lincoln's party was in charge not only of the White House, but the Senate. But Honest Abe said it's not the right thing to do. The American people deserve to make the decision about who will be the next president of the United States. And then that person can select who will serve for a lifetime on the highest court of our land.
This is from National Review. Lincoln said no such thing. He sent no nominee to the Senate in October 1864 because the Senate was out of session until December. He sent a nominee the day after the session began, and Chase was confirmed the same day. So entirely wrong. So then she is being asked about packing the Supreme Court, and she doesn't answer. And Trump says, Pence says, you're not answering the question. And she said, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking, Mr. Vice President. Because, it's just mansplaining to demand an answer to the question. It's men, damn men, they just can't, they want facts. That's not the way women behave, It is just an amazing thing. And I'm sorry, the press can sell this as much as they want. Some women are going to fall for it, but most women I know are very honest about the differences between men and women, and they can see when they're being lied to, too. I mean, they can see that they're being lied to, and women are hypersensitive about being lied to by other women because they know when it goes off. Men can get away with it more because nature has made it so that women will ignore how awful we are so that the race can reproduce. But it's absurd. It is absurd that the press as one does not demand an answer to this very, very important question and allows Biden to get away with, no, I can't discuss the issue because that would make the issue the issue. Then there's law enforcement. I mean, I can't go through all of this stuff, but I think it really is important. One of the things that kind of spoke to a central point in the debate, I'm going to skip to this. Kamala Harris was talking about Black Lives Matter and the law and police officers and all this. And she said this is cut 34.
I will not sit here and be lectured by the vice president on what it means to enforce the laws of our country. I am the only one on this stage who has personally prosecuted everything from child sexual assault to homicide. The president of the United States took a debate stage in front of 70 million Americans and refused to condemn white supremacists. He called Mexicans rapists and criminals. He instituted as his first act a Muslim ban. On the issue of Charlottesville, where people were peacefully protesting the need for racial justice, where a young woman was killed. And on the other side, there were neo-Nazis carrying tiki torches, shouting racial epithets, anti-Semitic slurs. And Donald Trump, when asked about it, said there were fine people on both sides.
So every word of that was a lie, every single word of it. And Pence struck back. This is cut 35.
I think this is one of the things that makes people dislike the media so much in this country, Susan, is that you selectively edit, just like Senator Harris did, comments that President Trump and I and others on our side of the aisle make. Senator Harris conveniently omitted, after the president made comments about people on either side of the debate over monuments, he condemned the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists, and has done so repeatedly. You're concerned that he doesn't condemn neo-Nazis. President Trump has Jewish grandchildren. I'm glad you brought up your record, Senator.
Thank you.
But I really need to make this point. When you were DA in San Francisco, when you left office, African Americans were 19 times more likely to be prosecuted for minor drug offenses than whites and Hispanics. When you were Attorney General of California, you increased the disproportionate incarceration of blacks in California.
Yeah.
You did nothing on criminal justice reform in California. You didn't lift a finger to pass the First Step Act on Capitol Hill. I mean, the reality is your record speaks for itself.
You know, if Donald Trump, this is what I mean about the tragedy of Donald Trump. If Donald Trump could do that, as well as the stuff that he does, as well as the stuff that we appreciate, you know, he would never be voted out of office. He'd be president for life if he could do that. The fact is, only Trump could have won the presidency when he won it. He's the only Republican who could have done it. He's the only Republican who could have won the nomination. He won it because of who he is, because of what he's like. However, if he had just a little bit, just an injection of Mike Pence blood in him, he would be so much more effective on a debate stage than he is. And that's the thing that really is troubling as the polls show him trailing behind. Doesn't mean he'll lose, but they show him trailing behind. And if he had just a little bit of Mike Pence in him, he would be a better Trump.